Welcome back. This is another one of the stage races. This is stage 3, Rolling Highlands. This race I did it 3 times. I'm only gonna show the first 2 races because the last one I won, it was a pretty decent win. It was like, oh man, maybe 30 seconds head lead on that. I think it kind of slowed down by the end because I was just kind of coasting by the end. So I'm not gonna show that one. There's no need in showing that one. But these first 2 are the ones where one of them I can say complacency kind of kicked in, saying not being lazy or just thinking I just want anything, but I kind of slowed down at the end and it cost me. You will see that. And on the next one, it was a battle between one of my new teammates on NTS, the NTS threes. This race was really good. So what I'm gonna do now is also thank him. On the second race is PS. It's Pet Z's. I don't want to mess his name up. That's why I'm not gonna say it like that. He recorded the race from a different, and he has his own YouTube channel. I'll put it up in the clicks for when they get ready to show it. But he has his own YouTube channel. He has a different version. He has a different view of the race. So if you'd like to see that, I'll put the links in his channel up here so you can see the race on his channel too. Hey, please like and subscribe to his channel too. All of us is a small community. It's not a whole bunch of us doing this because this is more of a niche thing. But hey, if you can support us, please support us. With that, let's get into the first race. All right, we got 3, 2, 1, and we're off. And as we take off on this race, I don't power up and anything. I just kind of take off riding with the pack. I'm feeling good. This is like I've come off like a 2-day break. And I was feeling pretty good about the race. I wasn't out racing trying to just beat them down. It was just that this race was kind of built. This is one of them ones, the Highlands, where if you don't go up on the first round, you don't go up. It's a climb, and then it kind of goes under a bridge, and then it keeps climbing even higher. It's on this race at the finish of each last 2 laps, at the end of each lap. But as long as you don't have that all over the place, this is a pretty decent race. And as you can see, I'm up front for the most of the race. I'm riding good. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the names now that are in the top half of this race. And man, when I say I thought I had this race after a while, because it seemed like I was riding by myself for a moment. And with that happening, I kind of, I don't know, as I started putting the lead in, I kind of became like, I'm gonna tell you what I was doing. I wasn't watching my climb and decline meter on the side right there. You see where it jumps up to like 5% down to -3%. And by the end of the race, because I had such a lead, I wasn't looking at that anymore. And I think that's what really cost me the race. I really do, because I really wasn't doing too much anything else on this race that should have cost me much. I wasn't paying attention by the end of the race. The last 1,000 feet of these 2 races, or the last 0.2 kilometers of these races, are what really, the last quarter mile, a little less than a quarter mile, I don't want to say that I wasn't trying my hardest. Now the second race against PS, I was pretty much pushed, but this one I had kind of, if you notice, the lead had started growing, and I wasn't pushing as much no more, and that was kind of my fault, especially me coming off of a break. I wasn't pushing. You see me sitting up, and another reason I wasn't pushing as hard is because I had been riding pretty hard lately, and my seat was starting to kind of, I had started building like a, you know how it is, you start building like a sore spot up, and I had kind of started building, and I needed to take a break. So like this week, I was gonna race Monday, which is today's Christmas Day, I'm recording this, but I haven't raced none this weekend. It's kind of surprising. I didn't race Saturday because I had Christmas stuff going on. I thought I was gonna be able to make the tiny races. Sorry about that. Then I didn't race Sunday, which I was gonna try my 100 miles, but it's Christmas Eve. You have to understand, I kind of forgot about it. So sad, so sad. That's a man thing to do. I kind of focused in on other stuff I was doing. You have to understand, I don't have little kids. I don't have grandkids. Bro. I'm not even looking forward to that. Like I said, I have a daughter just graduated college. She's a nurse. I have a son, runs a restaurant. And it's just me and the wife now. So we don't really do too much. We kind of relax around the house, look at a little TV, and enjoy ourselves. So, like I said, in this race, you can see that I'm just riding. I'm not trying to kill the race outright where I'm 100 and got a lead of 45, 50 seconds. I got a 15-second lead. So I kind of did myself injustice. I kind of just started. I wasn't like this. Here go what I'm talking about. You don't have a whole bunch of these hills right here, but I kind of started backing off, which was kind of my undoing in this race. If I kept pushing and just kept pushing, it would have been different. Like if I would just show y'all the end of the race, the last race, the way I have this lead right here, I never stopped pushing. I wasn't gonna lose another one because I stopped pushing in the race. I never stopped pushing in that race. I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and I was just like, you know what? I want to win this race. So, like I said, I came in this one thinking that I've had this. You can look at it. I normally when I got a 10, 12, and 15-second lead, it's kind of over race, but unless there's a huge hill, and I knew there wasn't a really bad, like this, when you turn right here, you go down these rolling hills, it wasn't a bad hill. It was just that I let it surprise me. If I went in that hill, I got to the last quarter mile and I just started pushing it, there would have been nothing nobody else can do to me. But because I went into this last hill, kind of like blase, it cost me. And that's what I'm telling y'all about hill stuff too. They are the great equalizer because I have to prepare for it. I just can't get in the middle of a hill and then start to take off. It's not gonna work like that. My weight becomes a hindrance then. But if I have speed going into the hill, I will still lose that momentum going into it, but I won't lose it as much. It'll still give me enough to get up the hill at a decent speed. And that's what you see me trying to do a lot of times when I go through this bridge section. I would come down to the end of the race, and I would get to that bridge section, and I would hit my feather. If I had a feather, I would hit it then, and that allowed me to build up enough speed to finish the race off. That's what I was trying to do. Even with this one, I looked down, and I had a 21-second lead. I gotta be honest with you, I stopped paying attention. If I just kept pedaling like I'm doing now, this wouldn't have been no other kind of race. But I was just letting the race kind of end. I just wanted, at this point, I just kind of wanted the race to end. That's where the problem came in. It wasn't the problem that the race was hard. It was the problem of just trying to finish the race out. And since I wasn't trying to push myself, I slowly let everybody catch back up. And that's why I have to stay vigilant about staying and paying attention to everything that's going on. By now, I'm not even thinking about the race, really. If you see me ride, I'm really just trying to get it over with, hoping that the end come up pretty soon. I had truly stopped paying attention to my lead. I had stopped paying attention to, like, that hill right there. See, I let myself come up that hill slow because I wasn't watching it. And if I had just thought about it, I could have ended this thing with no problem, but I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking, oh, ain't nobody gonna catch me. I'm fine. And then you see, I got a 9-second lead with a quarter mile left, actually scooted up to 10 seconds. And I was just like, okay, cool. We got 1,000 feet left in the race, and you see I slow it down, and I look down, and I got a 10-second lead. And it just started evaporating. And it was because I never put in the speed. I could have used the feather earlier and really put the speed in, and that would have been nothing to me. But I thought in my head, I had enough. Then I realized, I realized, oh my God, he's coming up on me pretty fast, and he's putting in some elevations numbers. And I was like, oh man, I messed up, and I let him catch up to me. If I had just stayed vigilant about what I was doing, I would have never had to worry about that. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna speed right to the next race. So you see what happens when you don't pay attention. If you ever hear me talking, I always talk about leaving room to sprint, leaving heart room to sprint, meaning that if your heart rate max out as a good condition, you max out at, for me, a hard pushing is like 165, 170. So I like to sprint. I like to keep my heart rate under 150, giving me room to rev it up as I sprint. So when it catches up, I'm not tired. So you got about 3 or 4 seconds for your heart to catch up. That's what I'm kind of always thinking. I'm not a heart expert, so if somebody else knows, you can explain it better in the comments for me. But you know, you got that just that enough room. You know, I ride about 145, and you know, 139, 145, 150 right in that. But anything above 150, it's gonna start taxing me soon. So I want to leave 150 and above for sprinting at the end of the race. So let's get into this race. We get to 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're off again. And on this one, I have my teammate on here. This is the one I was talking about where he recorded on here with me, and we're racing on this thing. And I'm looking at the idea that, hey, I can really win this one. Then I realized one thing at the last moment, and that is I'm still on a TT bike from the night before. I totally forgot to switch out bikes. You see why I'm at the front of the line? So I decided to stop, switch the bikes out as fast as possible, and get back to racing. Now, at this point, I'm not gonna lie to you, since I knew it was a class of my teammates and stuff that I didn't think I was gonna be able to catch back up. You see, I'm sitting at 48th, and I was like, maybe I can walk down some of these. I won't get that far, but I gotta remember this is the lead of the race, and that I have on the last one, I did have a 15-second lead in there. So if I pushed myself a little harder throughout the first half, meaning that if I just kept myself pushed, I can get back up to the front of the race. So I'm looking at it now, but you gotta understand, I'm pushing hard enough that I kept my heart rate accelerated pretty high. You notice it says at 146, and the race truly hasn't started. This is the leading, and I'm already pushing while everybody else has a chance. Now, once I catch back up to the front of the pack, I decide to try to calm down some, but PS kept jumping in front, pushing me, and so Ron was there, and I was like, oh man, I got everybody on my tail, so I can't back down too much, but I was trying to relax in the downhills on this thing and thinking that if I just stay relaxed on the downhills that I can make it through this race with, you know, pretty much no problem. Think about it, I came from 48 behind, I had to stop, change bikes, hop back on and get back in. But the issue was, I can feel it. It don't look like it right here. It's 142, 143. But you see, I could feel my heart rate starting to slowly move up. And it was ticking up towards the point where I was trying to calm back down. So every chance I got a chance to stop pedaling, I took it because I needed to calm back down or at least put in less pedals than what I was putting in. And every time I tried to slow down, thinking that I had enough room to breathe, oh, they would fly right back up on me. And I was like, whoa. I had Ron in here. Think about Ron. He's I keep calling you Ron. I keep trying to make you Ron Howard, man, for some reason, man. Hopefully you got that money. Let's put it that way. It's rolling. Sorry, Roland, man. I apologize. So Roland's in here, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, I can't back off too much because Roland here. And then I look up and I see Snario here, SS, I'm gonna call him SS, he's here. And I'm looking, okay, cool. I got a lot of big boys, big boys who ride this a lot are here. So I look at Ron and I see Ron kind of just backing off, trying to just kind of sneak up at the end. And which I should have done that more or less, but I was so worried about being so far behind. And that's actually what happened with me. When I fell behind, it kind of put me in a different mindset where I was trying to always lead this thing. Now, if I had never stopped, this would have been a totally different, I truly believe this would have been a totally different race because I put out a lot. Now, like when we come down this first round here, you see, I used to feather here to get up the hill. And I realized that if I put enough speed in, I don't have to worry about the feather coming up the hill. All I got to worry about is coming back down the hill. And coming down and then going to the final hill of the race. Like we coming up on that final hill, this is where I should use the feather at. That's what I was thinking in my head. This is where I want to use the feather at because if I put enough speed in, I can climb with ease. But right here is where I need to use the feather at. And I was doing this to see how close they really were to me when I came up that hill. So I'm thinking to myself that PS and I was going to be really, P and I was going to really be going. I'm called PS. I don't like saying P. That just sounds bad. So PS and I was going, and I was thinking to myself that, okay, cool. We on the second lap. I'm doing pretty good. I don't have to worry about him catching up to me too fast. That's what I'm thinking about. So as I'm riding, I'm going, okay, cool. I'm trying to cool down. My heart rate is already at 142, 143, which is in a good spot. I got my cadence up. What I'm doing now is taking a lot of the knob out and putting the cadence up. I'm working my cadence, but pretty much just trying to stay behind him. And I end up walking out in front of him. And every once in a while, he'll jump out in front of me, and the other riders will jump out in front of us. And I know it's only like 4 miles left, but I can't let him have too long of a lead. What I should have done, as I said, you see my heart rate is 145, 146, getting to 140, come down a little bit, but for the most part, I'm still grinding it up. So that when I get to the end, it's gonna be maxed out. And that's where I don't want it at. I want to come to the end of the race about 145. I really do. And I know that I couldn't have done that because I stopped and I put so much power to catch back up to everyone that I could not. I didn't have enough room. I pushed so much force in it that my heart rate was going to rise up no matter what. And as you see, each time I try to make a kick, it's jumping up towards 150. And I was like, oh man, I got to get it down. But there was no way of getting it down now. So now I just got to kind of push it, but try to watch it. And that's what I was thinking to myself. If I push it and try to watch it, I'll be fine. But you see, SS jumped in front of me. And when he jumped in front of me, he forced me to kind of keep going. And we get close to the end, it's 2 miles in, and they're much lighter than me. Especially with Ron. Ron has enough power that if he's close to me, Roland, God, I keep calling you Ron. Roland's right next to me when we come to the end. SS right next to me, or even PSP right next to me. If they're right next to me at the end of this race, I'm having problems. So you see, I really kicked it in to make it up top of this hill without using that fella. That was my goal. Now what I was planning on doing was get down to about 500 yards and sprint. But let me tell you something. SP had a whole different idea about what I had planned. And he decided that my plans weren't in his plans. And that's what my plans were not in his plans. And I noticed that right at the end, he passed me right down. And it was right up, he bounced it just right. He knows he's racing enough to know that I wanted to get about 750 in. Because you see, I start closing the gap because he can't hold it as long. But because my heart rate was already up, I can't hold it that long. You see, I'm at 120 pedals a minute, 160 heart base, 162 heart rate. Just couldn't hold it no longer. Hey, thank y'all for following me. Thank y'all. Help subscribe. Help me get to 100 subscribers this year. And with that, just ride on.